Hell yeah. I absolutely love this series. I started out with Crash Twinsanity and Crash the Huge Adventure on Game Boy Advance, and moved on to the original 3 Naughty Dog titles, and we're not only going to be talking about them, but we're going to be talking about Crash Bandicoot, the N.Sane Trilogy for PlayStation 4. This game was released in 2017 during the beginning of my strenuous YouTube retirement, and I'm going to be talking about them in all their HD remake, complete from the ground up glory. And nowadays they also have other games like Crash Team Racing and Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, which I also have on my PlayStation 4 as downloadable titles. I absolutely love these games. I never got to play them as a kid. I first played the first Crash Bandicoot in 2011 when I was already 18 years old, because I was just old enough to get a PlayStation 3 and actually use my own money for what I wanted to. I had overprotective parents, what can I say? So, all in all, I grew up with Crash the Huge Adventure on Game Boy Advance and Crash Twinsanity on the PlayStation 2. I actually have it somewhere here. The same copy, too. To move on, this is a ground-up remake of the first 3 games, and it does it absolutely beautifully. I could not be any more happy with this game. There are few to no drawbacks with this. It does the remake perfectly. Now, I haven't really played a lot of from the ground up remakes. I know that they redid Metal Gear Solid 1, the Twin Snakes, on GameCube, and they redid some of the animations, and they made a lot of the cutscenes a lot more over the top in their acting and their animations. And I've watched a lot of cutscenes from YouTube when it comes to that, a lot of videos on YouTube of gameplay, and it didn't really feel like that much of a step up for me. So I've always been really kind of tedious about my video game remakes. HD collections I got into a while back, but then they sort of started to bore me a little bit because I figured, am I doing this for the trophies, or am I doing this to replay a game I've already played a million times over and over again? So in the beginning of this channel, I made a video called Are HD Collections Worth It? And along with that, I said, are definitive editions worth it a couple years later? My first answer was yes, my second answer was no. And now I'm here to tell you, meh? I mean, it's a great thing to get a remastered title, especially if they make something different about it and they twist the gameplay that you absolutely loved and add something new and fresh to it, but most are just texture updates. They add some new textures and they up-res the game and add trophy support, tack it on, just like the upscale PlayStation 2 titles on PS4. So basically, the only upside to getting HD collections would be if you hadn't played the game in a while and you want to play it on a newer console while you're talking to other people online. And the PlayStation 4 has tons of them. Now, with this, however, it just takes that formula and just completely throws it out. Because this is a remake from the ground up. They remade the levels, absolute overhaul. They remade it in their own engine, and it definitely shows with the polish that was given to the game and the attention to detail. There are a couple changes this time around, especially in the first Crash Bandicoot title, where you could only do the bonus levels once in the original. Now you can do them as many times as you want, and they make saving a lot easier with the autosave feature. In all 3 titles, you don't have to actually manually hit save anymore, so that is a welcome change as well. The marsupial character, the Metalin Mammal, as Cortex calls him in Crash Twinsanity, it comes back with an absolute vengeance. And this is probably one of the best Crash Bandicoot releases overall. And I say that as a massive Crash Twinsanity fan, as that is the first console Crash game that I have played. So this definitely takes the concept of remake and just throws it out the window and says, we're just going to remake the entire game, to hell with it. I would have to say the only drawback with this game is the control scheme. As I said before, they have overhauled every last element in this game and completely remade it from the ground up as a smashing blast from the past. But with that, they added a control scheme that just seems a little bit too sluggish, especially in the first Crash game. And that's really the only time when it matters. It's such a small little detail that it's practically a nitpick at this point. So I am so used to these controls that I don't really even remember the controls to the originals, but the original Crash games seemed a little bit more responsive, and the PlayStation 4 version just is a little bit more slow and doesn't really react. And ever since Naughty Dog gave away the license, Crash Bandicoot games have been mixed to really good and then really terrible, especially in the case of Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, where, as I've said, he got a complete facelift, and they redesigned all the characters to look a lot more childish and cartoony. That's where most people stopped playing, and of course, the creators of Crash saw that and stopped developing games for it. So, overall, this is a massive return to form for Crash, and I hope they make brand new games like this. They've already made other games like Crash Team Racing and Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, and I look forward to what they can do in the future. As far as remakes go, I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. Absolutely wonderful. And that goes up there with Perfect Dark XBLA and the Metal Gear Solid HD collection as far as quality is concerned. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. This is Midnight Strike 3625. I hope you enjoyed watching this review. Keep calm and rock on.